The discovery. Liam adjusted the straps on his heavy backpack, his boots crunching against the rocky terrain of planet Iridian. The air was thinner here, the sky a strange greenish hue, and the twin suns above cast long shadows over the jagged mountains. He wasn't here for sightseeing, though. He was an explorer, hired to map this uncharted part of the galaxy. His goal was simple: find anything unusual and report back. But this time, Liam was hoping for more than just rocks and strange plants. Stories of ancient alien relics had always intrigued him, though most turned out to be rumors or worthless junk. Still, the thought of discovering something incredible kept him pushing forward, even when exhaustion weighed him down. As Liam climbed over another rocky ridge, a faint shimmer caught his eye. At first, he thought it was sunlight reflecting off a stream, but when he got closer, he realized it was coming from the base of a cliff. His curiosity piqued. He scrambled down the slope, his heart beating faster. There it was, a crack in the cliff, just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. The faint glow was coming from inside. Liam hesitated, looking around. The area was eerily silent, as if even the wind had stopped to watch. His instinct told him this could be dangerous, but his adventurous spirit pushed him forward. Pulling out his flashlight, Liam squeezed through the opening. The glow grew brighter as he ventured deeper into the cave. The walls were covered in strange markings, like symbols carved by an unknown hand. They seemed to pulse faintly, as if alive. Liam ran his fingers over one of the carvings. It was smooth and cold, but it sent a slight vibration through his fingertips. "What is this place?" he muttered to himself, his voice echoing in the cave. The tunnel opened up into a larger chamber, and Liam stopped in his tracks. In the center of the room, suspended in a column of light, was a pair of boots. They floated several inches above the ground, turning slowly as if on display. The boots were sleek and metallic, with intricate designs etched into the surface. They didn't look like they belonged to any known species. Liam approached cautiously, his flashlight trembling in his hand. The air around the boots felt charged, like the calm before a storm. He glanced at the symbols on the walls. They seemed to glow brighter as he got closer. "Is this some kind of trap?" he whispered. But nothing happened. The boots just floated there, waiting. Against his better judgment, Liam reached out. The moment his fingers brushed the boots, a jolt of energy shot through his arm. He stumbled back, his flashlight clattering to the ground. For a moment, the cave was plunged into darkness, but the boots lit up, casting the room in a bright, otherworldly glow. Liam's heart raced as he stared at them. He could feel something, like the boots were calling to him, urging him to pick them up. He hesitated, but the curiosity was too strong. With trembling hands, he grabbed the boots and held them up. They felt surprisingly light, yet there was an undeniable power humming beneath the surface. As he examined them, Liam noticed that the symbols on the walls were now flickering, as if reacting to the boots. A low hum filled the cave, growing louder by the second. Panic set in. "Okay, bad idea. Really bad idea," Liam muttered, shoving the boots into his backpack. The moment he did, the humming stopped, and the cave fell silent again. Liam stood there for a moment, catching his breath. He didn't know what he had just found, but he knew one thing for sure: this was no ordinary relic. Hurrying back through the narrow tunnel, Liam emerged into the sunlight, blinking against the brightness. The alien boots seemed to pulse faintly through his backpack, almost like a heartbeat. Whatever they were, they didn't feel like something meant to be left behind. As he set up camp for the night, Liam couldn't help but take another look at the boots. They were unlike anything he'd ever seen, sleek, ancient, and undeniably powerful. Questions swirled in his mind. Who had made them? Why were they left in that cave? And most importantly, what would happen if he tried them on? He decided to wait until morning to figure it out. For now, he needed rest. But as he drifted off to sleep, the boots seemed to glow faintly in the dark, as if watching him, waiting for the moment he would unleash their true power. Unbeknownst to Liam, his discovery had not gone unnoticed. Far above the planet, a ship silently hovered, its occupants watching the human through advanced surveillance. The boots were active again, and they would do whatever it took to retrieve them. Liam had no idea that his adventure had only just begun. The activation. Liam woke up to the sound of a low, vibrating hum. For a moment, he thought it was just a dream. But as he opened his eyes, he realized it was real. And it was coming from his backpack. The alien boots were glowing faintly, their intricate symbols shifting and moving like they were alive. The hum grew louder, sending a strange warmth through the air. Liam's heart pounded as he unzipped his bag, pulling the boots out. They seemed different now. The glow was brighter, and the symbols appeared to rearrange themselves every few seconds. It was mesmerizing, almost hypnotic. "What are you?" Liam whispered, running his fingers over the cold metal. The boots didn't answer, but the hum seemed to grow more intense, as if urging him to act. Despite his better judgment, Liam couldn't resist the pull. He sat down on a nearby rock, unlaced his old, worn-out boots, and hesitated. Was this really a good idea? But curiosity burned brighter than caution. Slowly, he slipped the first boot onto his foot. The reaction was immediate. A surge of energy exploded through Liam's body, like a lightning bolt had struck him. His muscles tensed, his vision blurred, and for a moment, he couldn't breathe. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. He gasped for air, looking down at his foot. The boot had latched onto his leg, metal bands sliding up to cover his shin like armor. Before he could process what had happened, the second boot pulled itself onto his other foot. Liam cried out in shock, grabbing at it, but it was no use. The boots locked into place, glowing brighter than ever. He stood up instinctively, and that's when it hit him. He felt powerful. The hum was no longer in the air. It was inside him, like a second heartbeat. His senses sharpened. He could hear the faint rustle of leaves half a mile away, and see tiny details on distant rocks he couldn't have noticed before. When he flexed his legs, he felt an explosive strength, like he could leap over mountains. What's happening to me?" Liam muttered, his voice trembling. Suddenly, a voice echoed in his mind. It wasn't his own, and it wasn't coming from the outside. It was deep and mechanical, with a strange alien accent. "Guardian protocol activated. Trial initiated." "Guardian? Trial," Liam said aloud, spinning around as if he could find the source of the voice. What does that even mean? Before he could think further, his body moved on its own. The boots seemed to take control, propelling him forward at an incredible speed. Trees and rocks blurred past as he ran faster than any human should be able to. Panic rose in his chest, but the boots didn't slow down. They carried him across the rugged terrain, his feet barely touching the ground. "Stop! Stop!" Liam shouted, but the boots ignored him. They finally halted at the edge of a massive ravine, and Liam nearly toppled over the side. Breathing hard, he looked down at the swirling mist far below. He could feel the boots vibrating again, like they were waiting for him to act. "No way," Liam muttered, realizing what they wanted. "You've got to be kidding me." The voice returned, calm and unyielding. "Jump." Liam froze. Nope, not happening. That's a straight drop to death. Jump. Trial cannot proceed without compliance. Sweat dripped down Liam's face. The boots began to hum louder, vibrating against his legs as if they were impatient. He looked back at the forest, but there was no turning back. His heart raced, and he clenched his fists. "All right," he muttered, his voice shaking. "If this is how I go, at least it'll be the craziest story no one will ever hear." With a deep breath, Liam took a running start and leaped off the edge. The world seemed to slow down as he plummeted. The wind roared in his ears, and his stomach twisted. But just as panic overtook him, the boots activated. A sudden burst of energy shot out, and Liam felt himself stop falling. Instead, he was gliding, weightless, as if gravity no longer applied to him. He landed on the other side of the ravine with a thunderous impact, cracking the ground beneath his feet. Liam stood there, shaking, his chest heaving as he stared back at the distance he had just crossed. His mind raced with questions, but one thought overpowered the rest. The boots weren't just alien technology. They were something far more advanced, and whatever trial they had in store for him was only beginning. The first test. Liam sat by his campfire that evening, staring at the boots now fused to his legs. The glow had dimmed, but their presence felt heavier, almost like they were part of him now. Every movement, every step, felt amplified, as though the boots were pushing him to test their limits. The air was quiet, too quiet. The usual hum of insects and rustling leaves was gone, replaced by an unnatural stillness. It was the kind of silence that made Liam's instincts scream danger. He scanned the tree line, gripping his plasma cutter tightly, though deep down, he knew it wouldn't be enough. Suddenly, a sharp metallic sound echoed through the forest. It was like claws scraping against steel. Liam shot to his feet, his heart pounding. The boots hummed in response, as if sensing the threat before he could. "Who's there?" Liam called out, his voice steady but his hands trembling. A shadow moved in the distance, then another. Slowly, shapes began to emerge from the trees, tall, slender figures cloaked in darkness. Their eyes glowed faintly, the same eerie blue as the symbols on the boots. "Human," one of them hissed, its voice distorted, like it was speaking through layers of static. "You should not have touched the relic." Liam took a step back, the boots clicking softly against the ground. "Relic? You mean these boots?" Another figure stepped forward, holding what looked like a sleek alien weapon. "They do not belong to you. Return them, and you might leave here alive." Liam swallowed hard. He wasn't about to give up the boots, not because he was stubborn, but because he wasn't sure he could. "Look, I didn't mean to take anything. I found them in a cave. They kind of attached themselves to me." The lead figure tilted its head, as though analyzing him. "The trial has begun," it said, almost to itself. Then louder, "You are unworthy of their power. Surrender now, or be destroyed." The boots vibrated suddenly, and the voice returned in Liam's mind. Threat detected. Engaging defensive protocol. Before Liam could react, the boots moved. His body spun and crouched in a combat stance, his hands raised instinctively. "What the?" he stammered, but the boots didn't give him time to process. One of the alien figures lunged at him, its weapon raised. The boots reacted instantly, propelling Liam sideways with a speed he couldn't have managed on his own. He barely had time to process the dodge before his legs kicked out, striking the alien with enough force to send it flying into a tree. Liam stumbled, struggling to regain control. "Hey, I didn't sign up for this," he shouted, but the boots didn't care. Two more aliens charged at him, their movements swift and coordinated. This time, the boots took full control. Liam's legs moved like a blur, leaping over one attacker while twisting midair to deliver a devastating kick to the other. His landing cracked the ground beneath him, sending a shockwave that knocked the remaining aliens off balance. His heart raced as he stood there, breathing hard. The attackers regrouped, their glowing eyes narrowing. "You are not just human anymore," one of them said, almost in awe. "The boots are awakening." Liam didn't have time to ask what that meant. The aliens raised their weapons in unison, aiming directly at him. Energy began to charge at the tips of their sleek rifles, a high-pitched whine filling the air. "Boots, if you got any ideas, now would be a great time," Liam muttered, his pulse hammering in his ears. Evasive maneuvers activated. The boots launched Liam into the air just as beams of energy scorched the ground where he'd been standing. He flipped effortlessly, landing behind the aliens before they could turn around. His legs moved on their own again, delivering a rapid series of strikes that disarmed one attacker and sent another crashing to the ground. Liam didn't know how he was doing it. He wasn't even sure if it was him. The boots were in control, guiding every movement with precision. The lead alien, still standing, raised its hand and spoke into a small device. "Reinforcements required. The Guardian has awakened." Liam froze. "Guardian? What are you talking about?" The alien didn't answer. Instead, it backed away slowly, its glowing eyes locked onto Liam, as more shapes began to emerge from the forest. A dozen, maybe more, each armed and moving with deadly intent. The boots hummed again, louder this time, and the voice returned in Liam's head. "Trial escalation confirmed. Prepare for second phase." Liam's heart sank. Second phase. What happened to finishing the first one? But there was no time for answers. The forest erupted in chaos as the reinforcements charged, weapons blazing. Liam had no choice but to trust the boots as they pulled him into the fight of his life. The hidden power. Liam stumbled into the dense forest, his chest heaving as he tried to catch his breath. The boots carried him faster than his body was ready for, propelling him past trees and over rocks like he weighed nothing. His mind raced, replaying the events of the fight he barely escaped. Whoever those aliens were, they wanted these boots badly, and they weren't going to stop. Finally, he stopped in a small clearing. The boots vibrated softly, as if calming down, their faint glow pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. For the first time, he felt like he had a moment to think. He sat down on a fallen log, running a hand through his sweat-soaked hair. "What are you?" he muttered, staring at the boots. The response was immediate. The glow intensified, and the strange symbols etched into the boots began shifting again, rearranging themselves into a new pattern. Then, a holographic figure appeared, projected from the boots themselves. It was humanoid but clearly alien, tall and slender, with elongated limbs and glowing, crystalline eyes. Its voice echoed in Liam's mind, calm but authoritative. "You are not prepared, human. Yet you have chosen to awaken the relic. Now you must carry the burden." Liam blinked, startled. "What burden? I didn't choose anything. I just found you in a cave." The hologram tilted its head, as though studying him. "The relic of the Guardians does not awaken by accident. You have been deemed compatible, but compatibility alone is not enough. To wield this power, you must prove yourself." Liam groaned, standing up and pacing. "Prove myself? By doing what? Fighting off an army of aliens who want to kill me. That's not exactly my idea of a good time." The hologram remained silent for a moment, then gestured toward the sky. "The boots you wear were created by my people, the Viral, to defend our civilization against annihilation. Each Guardian was chosen to protect the balance of power in the galaxy. But our time has passed. Now the relic seeks a new wielder, a new Guardian." Liam stopped pacing, staring at the hologram. "So, what? You're saying I'm supposed to be some kind of galactic protector now? That's insane." The hologram's expression didn't change. "Insanity or not, the relic has chosen. The power you now possess will grow with each trial. But be warned, power comes at a cost." Liam's stomach twisted. What kind of cost? Before the hologram could answer, a low rumble shook the ground. Liam turned to see a shimmering portal opening in the clearing, its edges crackling with energy. On the other side, he could see a barren wasteland, scorched and broken. The air shimmered with heat, and strange creatures stalked the horizon. The hologram's voice grew urgent. "The next trial awaits. The relic will unlock its full potential only if you survive what lies ahead. Enter, or forfeit your claim to the power." Liam stared at the portal, his mind racing. Every instinct screamed at him to run in the opposite direction. But deep down, he knew he didn't have a choice. Whatever these boots were, whatever power they held, they weren't going to let him walk away. Taking a deep breath, Liam stepped toward the portal. As he got closer, the boots began to hum again, their glow intensifying. He felt a strange pull, like the portal was calling to him. "All right," he muttered, gripping the straps of his backpack. "If this is some kind of test, let's get it over with." The moment he stepped through, the world around him shifted. The forest disappeared, replaced by a desolate landscape under a blood-red sky. The ground was cracked and dry, and the air smelled of ash. In the distance, massive pillars of light shot up into the sky, humming with energy. The boots vibrated, and the voice returned in Liam's head. Trial commencing. Energy reserves unlocked. Defensive capabilities increased. Threat level high. Liam barely had time to process the words before the ground trembled. A massive creature emerged from behind one of the energy pillars, its body covered in jagged black armor. It let out a deafening roar, its glowing eyes locking onto Liam. "Seriously," Liam shouted, backing away. "You couldn't start me off with something smaller." The creature charged, its claws digging into the ground with every step. Liam's legs moved before he could think, the boots propelling him sideways to dodge the first attack. He landed with precision, his body feeling lighter and faster than ever. The boots hummed again, and Liam felt a surge of energy course through him. His fists clenched, and for the first time, he realized the boots weren't just about speed. They were amplifying his strength. "All right," he muttered, a small grin forming despite his fear. "Let's see what you've got." As the creature charged again, Liam leaped into the air, the boots launching him higher than he thought possible. He came down hard, slamming his foot into the creature's side. The impact sent a shockwave rippling through the ground, and the creature staggered, letting out a pained roar. Liam landed in a crouch, his heart racing. The boot's voice echoed in his mind once more. Hidden capabilities unlocked. Continue the trial. As more creatures began to appear on the horizon, Liam realized this wasn't just a test of power. It was a test of endurance, will, and whether or not he truly had what it took to wield the relic. And the boots weren't going to let him fail. The alien warning. Liam sat on a jagged outcrop of rock in the middle of the scorched wasteland, his chest heaving. His body ached in ways he didn't know were possible, but the boots pulsed softly, almost soothingly, as if urging him to keep going. The creatures he had fought lay in heaps around him, their blackened shells steaming in the red-tinted air. The trial wasn't over, but Liam was running out of energy. Before he could catch his breath, the air shimmered in front of him. A figure began to materialize, translucent and bathed in a faint blue light. It wasn't like the hologram he had seen earlier. This being was larger, its presence commanding. It had the same elongated limbs and glowing crystalline eyes, but there was a sharpness to its features, a coldness that sent a shiver down Liam's spine. "Human," the figure said, its voice echoing in his mind like a low thunder. "You have activated the relic of the Guardians. You have awakened a power that should have remained buried." Liam stood, every muscle in his body screaming in protest. "And who are you supposed to be? Another ghost from the past?" The figure's eyes flared, and Liam felt a wave of pressure, as though the air itself was pushing down on him. "I am Vryn, the last surviving arbiter of the viral. My people created the relic to defend our civilization, but its power is not meant for your kind." Liam crossed his arms, though his heart was pounding. "Well, I didn't exactly ask for this. The boots chose me. Isn't that how this whole guardian thing works?" Vryn stepped closer, its glowing form towering over Liam. "The relic's choice is flawed. You are weak. Your body is already breaking under the strain. Do you feel it? The energy of the boots is consuming you." Liam blinked, startled. He had felt something earlier. A strange fatigue in his limbs, a dull ache in his chest. He chalked it up to the fight, but now doubt crept in. "What are you saying?" "The boots amplify your strength, your speed, your senses, but they drain life in return. My people built the relic for those who could endure such a cost. You are not one of them." Vrin's tone was sharp, almost pitying. You will die before the trial is complete. Liam took a step back, his hands balling into fists. If that's true, then why do the boots keep pushing me? Why even choose me in the first place? Vrin tilted its head, its crystalline eyes narrowing. Perhaps it is a mistake. Or perhaps the relic has grown desperate. My people are gone, human. Our time has ended. But the boots remain, seeking a new purpose, even if it means destroying their wielder. Liam's mind reeled. He looked down at the boots, their glow steady and unwavering. Was it true? Were they killing him even as they gave him this incredible power? He shook his head, anger flaring in his chest. I don't believe you. If the boots wanted me dead, they'd have let those things rip me apart back there. Vrin's gaze bore into him, its voice dark and foreboding. You think the boots protect you. They are testing you, human, pushing you to your limits, and when you fail, they will find another. Liam's jaw tightened. I'm not failing. I didn't ask for this, but I'm not backing down. If the boots want a guardian, then I'll show them I'm the right one. For the first time, Vrin's expression softened, almost imperceptibly. Perhaps you are more stubborn than I thought. But know this, human. Power without purpose is a curse. The relic does not care for your survival. It cares only for its mission. If you continue, you will face greater trials. You will lose more than your strength. You may lose yourself. Liam clenched his fists. If that's what it takes, then so be it. I'm not letting these boots, or you, decide my fate. Vrin's form began to fade, its voice growing faint. Your determination may save you, or destroy you. Remember this warning, Guardian. The relic is not a gift. It is a burden. As the Arbiter vanished, the ground beneath Liam trembled. He turned to see a new portal opening in the distance, larger than the first. Beyond it, he could see a massive alien structure, its spires piercing the blood-red sky. The boots hummed louder, their glow intensifying, as if eager to move forward. Liam exhaled sharply, steadying himself. Whatever lay ahead, he wasn't backing down. Vrin's words lingered in his mind, but he shoved the doubt aside. He wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. He was fighting to prove he was worthy. All right, boots, he muttered, stepping toward the portal. Let's finish this. The showdown. The alien fortress loomed ahead, a towering structure of dark metal and jagged spires, glowing faintly under the blood-red sky. Liam stood at the edge of the portal, staring at the massive gates that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. The boots pulsed steadily, their energy synchronizing with the hum of the fortress. He could feel it. The final test was near. But something felt off. The air was heavy, and the ground beneath his feet vibrated subtly, as if the entire planet was alive and watching him. He took a deep breath, stepping forward cautiously, the boots moving in perfect sync with his body. As Liam approached the gates, they began to open on their own, revealing a vast, circular chamber inside. The floor was covered in alien symbols that glowed with every step he took. In the center of the room stood a tall, armored figure, its back turned to him. The armor shimmered like liquid metal, and its shoulders were adorned with glowing crystals, pulsating in time with the fortress. The figure turned slowly, revealing a face that wasn't entirely alien. It looked humanoid, with sharp features and eyes that glowed the same blue as the boots. Liam froze. This wasn't some mindless creature or hologram. This was something, or someone, far more dangerous. You've come far, human, the figure said, its voice deep and resonant. I didn't think you'd survive this long. Most don't. Liam clenched his fists, his pulse quickening. Who are you? Another one of those arbiters here to tell me I don't belong. The figure chuckled, the sound cold and hollow. No, I'm not here to warn you. I'm here to stop you. It stepped forward, and Liam noticed something that made his stomach drop. The figure was wearing a pair of boots identical to his own. You've got to be kidding me, Liam muttered. You're another guardian. The figure shook its head. I was the last guardian. The boots chose me centuries ago. I passed their trials. I carried their power. And then I learned the truth. It pointed at Liam, its voice growing sharper. These boots don't make you a hero. They make you a weapon, a tool for destruction. Liam frowned, his mind racing. Then why are you still here? Why not get rid of them? The figure's glowing eyes narrowed. Because you can't get rid of them. They don't let you. They bind to you, consume you, until there's nothing left but their mission. I won't let them take another victim. Before Liam could respond, the figure raised its arm, and a blast of energy shot toward him. The boots reacted instantly, launching him to the side in a blur of motion. He landed on his feet, the ground cracking beneath him. "All right," Liam said, his heart pounding. "If you want to fight, you've got one." The figure moved faster than Liam expected, closing the distance in a heartbeat. Their boots clashed with a sound like thunder, sending shockwaves through the chamber. Liam barely managed to block the first strike, his body moving in perfect sync with the boots' commands. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," the figure shouted, striking again and again. "The relic doesn't care about you. It only wants a vessel." Liam gritted his teeth, countering with a powerful kick that sent the figure skidding backward. "Maybe. But I'm still standing, aren't I?" The battle intensified, the chamber shaking with every blow. Energy crackled in the air as the boots unlocked new abilities, pushing Liam to his limits. He could feel the strain in his body, the burning in his muscles, but he couldn't stop now. Not when he was so close. As the fight raged on, flashes of memories began to flood Liam's mind. He saw glimpses of the viral people, their cities burning, their guardians falling one by one. He saw the boots being forged in a blinding light, their creators arguing over the cost of their power. The voice in his head returned, calm and emotionless. Guardian trial nearing completion. Final activation protocol initiated. Liam barely had time to process the words before the figure lunged at him again, its strikes faster and more desperate. "Don't let them control you," the figure roared. "If you complete the trial, you'll lose yourself." But Liam wasn't listening. The boots surged with energy, and he unleashed a devastating kick that sent the figure crashing into the far wall. The impact was enough to crack the chamber's foundation, and the entire fortress began to tremble. The figure struggled to stand, its armor cracked and its glow fading. "You think you've won," it said, its voice weak but defiant. "But this is only the beginning." Liam stepped forward, the boots pulsing with raw energy. "Maybe. But if I'm going down, I'm doing it on my terms." The chamber began to collapse around them, the symbols on the floor flickering erratically. The figure looked at Liam one last time, its expression unreadable. "Good luck, human. You're going to need it." With that, the figure vanished in a burst of light, leaving Liam alone in the crumbling fortress. The boots hummed louder than ever, their glow reaching a blinding intensity. And then, everything went dark. The aftermath. Liam's eyes blinked open to a sterile white light. For a moment, he didn't remember where he was, just the sensation of falling, then darkness. He sat up quickly, wincing as a sharp pain shot through his chest. Looking around, he realized he was lying on a medical bed, surrounded by monitors and blinking lights. The hum of machinery filled the room. "Easy there," a calm voice said from the corner. Liam turned to see a woman in a sleek, navy uniform standing by the door. She had short cropped hair and a stern expression softened only slightly by curiosity. "You've been through quite an ordeal." Where am I?" Liam asked, his voice hoarse. "Terran Outpost 17, she said. "We found you unconscious on the edge of a crater, one that wasn't there a day before. Whatever happened, you're lucky to be alive." Liam groaned, rubbing his temples. Memories of the fight, the collapsing fortress, and the boots flooded back. Instinctively, he glanced down at his legs. The boots were still there, gleaming faintly, their intricate symbols dim but unmistakable. He felt a strange mix of relief and dread. "You've got some explaining to do," the woman continued, stepping closer. "Our scans picked up energy signatures we've never seen before, off the charts. And those things on your legs, let's just say they're causing quite a stir with our science team." Liam leaned back against the bed, exhaling sharply. "It's a long story." "We've got time," the woman said, pulling up a chair. "Start with the basics. What are those, and how did you survive whatever destroyed that area?" Liam hesitated, unsure of how much to share, but as he looked into the woman's expectant eyes, he realized he didn't have much of a choice. He told her everything: finding the boots, the trials, the voice in his head, and the final battle with the former guardian. When he finished, the room was silent except for the hum of the machines. The woman studied him carefully, her expression unreadable. "So, you're saying those boots chose you, and now you're some kind of guardian?" "Something like that," Liam said, shrugging. "I didn't ask for this, but here I am." She frowned, tapping her fingers on the armrest. "If what you're saying is true, those boots are more dangerous than anything we've encountered. You realize people will come for them, and for you." Liam's stomach tightened. He had thought the trials were over, but her words made it clear that his challenges were just beginning. "Let them try," he said, forcing a grin. "The boots seem to like me. I'll figure it out." Before the woman could respond, an alarm blared through the facility. Red lights flashed, and a robotic voice announced, "Unidentified vessel approaching. All personnel to defense physicians." The woman shot to her feet, her hand hovering over the weapon at her side. "Looks like you brought company." Liam swung his legs over the side of the bed, wincing as the boots pulsed faintly. "Let me guess. Tall, glowing eyes, really bad attitude." She nodded grimly. "How did you know?" "Call it a hunch." Liam stood, testing his balance. Despite the aches in his body, the boots seemed to steady him, feeding him a small burst of energy. He glanced at the woman. "You're going to need me out there." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "You're in no condition to fight." Liam smirked. "Tell that to them." The ground shook as the outpost was rocked by an explosion. The woman cursed under her breath, drawing her weapon. "Fine. But if you get yourself killed, don't blame me." "Noted," Liam said, flexing his legs. The boots responded instantly, their glow intensifying as if they were eager for the challenge. As the two of them sprinted toward the command center, Liam couldn't help but feel the weight of the boots again, not just their physical presence, but what they represented. He wasn't just a survivor anymore. He wasn't even just a human. He was something more, something the galaxy wasn't ready for. And if these aliens wanted to take him down, they were going to learn the hard way what it meant to mess with humanity. Liam grinned as the boots hummed with anticipation. "All right," he muttered. "Let's see what happens next."